All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Pushing the Pace podcast with myself, Elias, and my friend Sam. Today, we have a jam-packed episode, probably one of our best episodes ever. I'm very excited to record this because last night we got the biggest breaking news ever in the history of life and the world. Right now, we also got a breaking trade. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We're gonna get to the real heavy stuff right now. I know I know that this personally affects some of us in this podcast. Some of us are more personally affected by this as Maverick fans. Um, but yeah, man, I there was a trade last night involving the Dallas Mavericks and the Los Angeles Lakers in which Luka Doncic, 25, 26-year-old phenom, got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis and one first round pick. And I mean, this was one of the most surprising, one of the most insane trades ever. This is something that the world has shifted. There was a before Luka got traded, and now it's after Luka got traded. In the moment, it didn't feel real. It still doesn't feel real. In 5 years, it probably won't even feel real, but it is true. We have Luka Doncic in a damn Lakers jersey, and I want to ask you, Sam, how are you doing, and how do you feel? Let's say your initial reactions, and how do you feel now? Let's go through the 5 stages of grief. First, just
Initial re-
the shock of it.
initial reaction. Okay, so I'm folding clothes in my room, just
Yeah.
having a pretty pleasant day. One of my friend, he's from Dallas. He's currently in Denver right now. He texts me, he's like, "Guy," and he's like, exclamation, exclamation mark, question mark, question mark. I'm like, I'm not even thinking anything's happening, right? I'm like, my brother, what's up? He's like, bro, Luka got traded. Then I threw a laughing emoji. I just laughed, I was laughing at him. I was like, the first thing I said before I hopped on Twitter, the first thing I said was, it must be a hack. There's no way. Then he sent me a screenshot that said, Luka traded to the Mavs. Breaking news, Shamshirani. I was like, what the fuck? Then I sent him back a tweet from Adam Mares, who covers the Denver Nuggets, and is like, gotta be the greatest hack in NBA history. Then I'm laughing. I'm like, bro, this doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. By the time I open Twitter, the first tweet I see is, this is real. The trade details. And from then on, bro, it's been a crazy 12 hours. Like, there are few times in life, especially in sports, like we follow teams, we root for teams, but there are these specific athletes and all that you love, like you love, and there's no change. Like there's an attachment you have, right? Even though we're meant to live life detached, but that's the case for another time. There's an attachment you have, and there's a love you have for this player. I mean, this was one of those guys, and it's just been 12 hours of just figure. Like, I'm a full blown conspiracy theorist now. In the space of 12 hours, I am a conspiracy theorist because I don't buy the basketball side of this. I don't buy the business side of this. I don't buy any side of this. I don't buy it's because of Luka's conditioning. I don't buy that shit.
we're
Not,
gonna
no,
we're gonna get into all the potential
so
reasons.
my
No, keep
intro,
going. I
my
agree.
my my to answer your first question, my initial reaction was just like everyone. We thought there's no way this isn't a scam. We were like, oh, people were making jokes. Oh, Shamsharani's password was K Adams, K Adams 123 and stuff like that, right? And that shock, it, you as much as I started watching the NBA 2014, you ask and you learn about history as long as you're gonna. There's been no bigger trade in NBA history, as far as I'm concerned. And for people that have been covering the league for 37 years, David Aldridge, Brian Windhurst, Bill Simmons, these dudes talk about how this is the biggest trade and the most shocking. Like immediately, like everyone was like, this does not, like, we are all living in a simulation. This is a dream. This did not just happen. And that was my initial shock. And now I'm going through pain. Like pain. I've gone through the shock phase. Now I'm going through pain, and we'll talk about that as we go.
No, you're absolutely correct. That when you I heard the news from you, you texted me and you were like, check Twitter. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll check Twitter. I haven't looked at it. I look at it, I see Shams. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is not real. Like everyone else, this is not real. And then I forgot who it was. I think it was like Tim McMahon or like something like that. One of the other ESPN guys. And then the official ESPN Twitter posted it. And then it's everywhere. Everyone like just reacting to it. And I mean, we're gonna talk about Nico Harris and everything, but just like what I've been thinking about the most is, can you imagine like telling Shams like, hey, we're trading Luka to the Lakers, and then you check Twitter and everyone is like, this is not real. This is fake.
Someone said Shams' adrenaline when he was about to tweet must have been I cannot imagine being in that walk of life, and that's your job, and knowing that you just took over Woj, right? This is a guy that considered the biggest NBA insider in this thing. And in less than 6 months that you're in the freaking job, you have this blockbuster that even Woj never had. I can imagine the adrenaline was through the roof in his brain.
I saw a quote retweet about that where it's like Woj must have been looking at the phone like a heroin needle or something. But bro, oh my, like, I mean, you're right. I can't even imagine hearing that news and then tweeting it, and then just like like the responses yesterday is just everybody initial, what the fuck, right? Like, what are we talking about here? Like, this is not real. And then second, WTF, right? And then third, like, what I was thinking is like, okay, I was still in shock. I still cannot believe it. It doesn't make any sense. And then the real third one was, that's it? Anthony Davis and 1 first-round pick. Now, here's the thing. We'll get it out of the way right now. Anthony Davis is a great NBA player.
Great.
He can be a top 10, top 5 player in any given game. He has had the potential to be one of the best players, one of the best defenders in the league. You know, but we're talking about a guy who is 32 years old, and if we want to talk about, we'll talk about the reasons, but one of the reasons being conditioning and or injury or whatever. If you want to talk about Anthony Davis and conditioning, I'm not saying he isn't in the best condition, but if this is a guy who has a long history of injuries, and you're getting him near the end of his prime on a big ass contract.
And you know what's so funny?
Yeah.
And the guy that's also always had inconsistent playoff games because of his motor. And obviously because he gets extremely exhausted and exhaustion, which goes back to the amount of load he carries defensively too. But again, that's the person you guys decided on, right?
Yeah.
Continue. Yeah.
No, and then so like we'll get deeper into every single one of these, but just that's it, because there's many trades this year, the last 2 years, where we see 5 first-round picks, Rudy Gobert 5, Mikal Bridges 5, KD 5. That makes sense. Okay, sure. And then we got Luka with 1, and then the next level is that the Mavs were the ones to approach the Lakers. And they're like,
Nico Harrison
approached Rob Pelinka and was like, do you want Luka for AD? And I think there was reports and stuff like he thought he was basically like joking or trolling or whatever. I mean, I don't even know. If I received a phone call, I would have thought it was like one of those AI video, like people made like your AI voice say that. I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, you got a FaceTime me, talk to me in real life. Tell me, I want to hear the words come out of your mouth.
I need you to write it down on
Write
the
it,
paper right now.
write
And
it down. Take a picture. Record yourself saying, "Do you want Luka?" And even then, I still wouldn't believe you. We're gonna, we're gonna talk about. I don't know what's been going through his mind lately, but Nico Harrison is a crazy guy. So that was the next step. And then, I mean, there's just so much. But like another thing that I was thinking of is like the Lakers get another one.
They get another one.
They had Jerry West, Kareem, Magic, Shaq, Kobe, LeBron, AD, and you're at the end of the line.
And wait, and this is the most important part. We thought they were going to go through a stretch of 2-3 years where they had to look for the next. They didn't even have to wait. They didn't even have to wait.
This was the end of the line. LeBron 1-2 years max. AD after that, he's gonna be a bit older. The question was, who are you gonna pair beside AD? I mean, there was some Trae Young here and there, blah 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 blah. You know, people want to go to LA, you know, big market, whatever. And I don't know what contract they signed with the Devil like 50 years ago when they became a franchise and they moved to Los Angeles. I don't know what lifetime, like, here, sell our souls to get this franchise to be good every year. But you're at your wit's end. The ride is almost done.
The ride is almost done.
You trade AD, and you get, here's another 10 years of being one of the best teams in the league, top 3 player in the world on your team.
Do you understand this? Do you understand this is an international superstar, a generational player in the LA market, and it's like, what the, as you said.
Yeah.
And this is the thing for me. That's the thing. I think one of my biggest issue with this, because I'm dealing with this emotionally as a fan, so I don't know what angle to go. I actually don't know what angle to go. It's just devastating. And I think the first thing I want to point out is like the emotional element of this from a Dallas Mavericks side. And listening to, I don't know if you've seen the quotes and you've seen the videos from Nico Harrison's press conference today. It's tone deaf. It's completely ignoring and acting like you don't understand that people do have attachment to these players. People do spend their money on these players. People do spend money on tickets. The Dallas Mavericks has been embodied this loyal fan base because of their relationship with Dirk Nowitzki. You get a chance in this lifetime to have those players. Like, they don't make those players. They don't make those players in some factory. And you get another European guy who Dirk acknowledges and gives him the, like, you're the take the baton. You're the next guy. You're the one. And he is just not some great player. He's a generational talent. This is the third leading scorer in NBA history after Michael Jordan and Wilt Chamberlain. This is a 5-time All-Star. This is a perennial MVP candidate at the start of every season. Las Vegas, wherever betting books, MVP candidates and all. This is a player that his first playoff game against the Los Angeles Clippers, where we were with who knows the TF who was on our squad. I remember watching that game. I remember very well my house watching that game, Elias. And he had like 5 turnovers in the first 4 minutes. And I remember tweeting before the game, I was like, oh, this may be like a big jump for Luka, you know, like this so much pressure. And most times, all these superstars, when you're going, because I already knew he was a superstar. I already had that, I was confirmed that was for sure. But I was like, most times, all these superstars, they need the play, like they need that bad playoff series, you know, to grow,
to go through some struggle.
You know, you go through the struggle. From that point on, he dropped 42 or 45. From the moment he had his 50 it was like, he dropped 42 or 45, and I was like, that's him. And that's it. That was, he didn't need an off season. He figured it out in the crux of the game. And ever since then, I have gone to every playoff series, whether we are favorites or we're not favorites. And as a Mavs fan, and this is the things Mavs fans can talk about, I have Luka and you don't. And that was the greatest trump card. Because I knew this dude was a playoff. This dude is a playoff. He's one of the greatest playoff players we've ever seen in this game. One of the players that executive coaches, Zach Lowe used to talk about it so much that even after a series, Ty Lue, Steve Kerr, what's the coach? Minnesota's coach. Can't remember his name. Chris Finch. Name the amount of coaches, Mazzulla and everything. They point to the amount of brain mind fuck you pretty much have to put yourself as a coaching staff to be able to plan for him, because he alone is. When Reggie Bullock was on our team as a 6'4" player that was playing the power forward for us, he was still a problem. And I have gone to every playoff series ever since then. I'm like, I have Luka, you don't. One, he was our guy. He's our rookie. He is everything about the franchise. He's played injured. He's played with a bad roster. He's played, and he comes to every press conference as like, oh, it's my fault. I didn't show up. We lost. He never blames his teammates. Never blames anyone. Even when he has had bad traits and stuff, he goes on the court and he screams at refs. You know, he kills refs, and everyone's coming like, why is Luka complaining? He's complaining he's not running back. These are flaws, no doubt. But every franchise with Jordan, LeBron, Dirk, as the Mavs had, Giannis, when they see their franchise player fail on the biggest stage, they have no doubt that we are going to give him another chance to redeem themselves. And we saw Luka fall flat on his face, especially that game 3 against the Celtics, right? Where he lost his mind, right? And stuff like that. And this is not a player. It would be different if this was a player that blamed everyone else. Like, he would legit come on and just admit, like, it was me. I effed that up and stuff like that. So there's so many angles, and I don't want to just go on the whole rant and everything, but so many angles that I can go on this. But that was our guy. That was our guy. That was our superstar. That was the person that we wanted to win a championship with. That was the player that wanted to play in Dallas. I don't care what Nico says about, oh, we didn't want to get. That guy wanted to play in Dallas and wanted to win here, as he's mentioned in his messages and everything. And the fact you would be tone deaf in your press conference and ignore the human element about it, as you've seen the videos of in American Airlines Center of people dropping their Luka jerseys, and they're just people there. A woman, an older lady today, a Latino woman, was like, Luka, you were the lights in Dallas. Like, these are fans that have a lot of attachment to this player, and they wanted to see him do well. And these players have always been given a chance to fail. Even irrespective of that, like, he's overachieved with the rosters we've had. He's over, and the one time you guys have given incredible rosters, he took you to the Western Conference Finals, and he took you to the finals. The one time you've given incredible rosters, he's gone to battle against the Clippers with Kawhi, PG, Marcus Morris, Pat Beverly, Lou Williams. He's gone to battle 7 games, 6 games, with Tim Hardaway Jr. as the second best player, with Porzingis missing the whole series, with Reggie Bullock at the 4, with Spencer Dinwiddie as his running mate and in the backcourt. Like, there's nothing that this dude can explain to me, and him being tone deaf and not understanding the human element of it. Because one of the questions I was going to ask you, the teammates have talked about how much they love him. Kyrie loves him. We've not heard anything from Kyrie. The news is coming, like, he's been really shocked about the news. I mean, he wasn't on the bench today and stuff because I know he's injured, but normally he will appear on the bench. Kyrie loved that dude. His family and Luka's family are like this, and they spent so much time off the court with each other. Derek Lively. Naj Marshall has talked about how him and Luka are so close together. This is a locker room that I've rooted for him, and I've been talking about, oh, we can't wait to get Luka back. We can't wait to get Luka back since he's been injured. So you have that element part of it. And as much as these guys are professionals, Clay talked about how he wanted to come to the Mavs because of Luka. And as much as these guys are professional and they will go out there to this thing, and this is the thing is, it's not AD's fault, but he's going to be engraved in this forever, where they're not just going to be able to embrace him. They are not going to be able to embrace him, because even when we win, the thing will be like, we could have done that with Luka, and it's Luka we would wanted that to happen with. I don't know if you understand, right? This is not any other player. This is not any other player. This is your pretty much your jewel, every single thing. And this is, again, this is not a player that we just revert. Players are revered. This dude is loved. He's loved almost to a bad extent. In the extreme of it is, some people don't want to ever call him out when he's wrong and stuff, which is so funny because Luka will come out and admit to himself he's wrong, right? But these guys give him so much benefit of the doubt. Even sometimes, when we play home games, sometimes I hate it. I prefer Luka in away arenas because people are booing him and he's able to play concentrated and focused. But sometimes when we're at home, the bad behaviors he has is kind of like babied with our fans, you know? And so they don't really call him out for it and stuff like that. So this is a fan base that loved this dude. And you've literally ripped him out of there. You've ripped this out of there. So you're going to have games. You're going to have games with these players on the court. These players are also having a relationship with him. They're meant to go out there and perform to their best abilities. And they're a very good defensive team. And AD's fit is there and all. But the fans are not going to be on board with this. And some players are going to feel that, like, man, that's our guy, you treated that way. And I just don't understand why he would not grasp the human element part of it, away from the business, away from the basketball, which I think even in those three tenets doesn't make sense. Okay, I've ranted a little bit, but that's my first one to go.
I mean, you touched on a lot. No, I definitely agree. I literally saw some Mav fans bring a coffin in front of American Airlines Center. Just R.I.P. Maverick fans. I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, this is a guy that every team, every franchise would dream of. You draft him, homegrown. He fully embraces everybody. He's an amazing talent. This is a guy that people have been saying that he can be one of the best players of all time. Easily can become a top 10 player of all time. This is a guy you draft in a third overall pick, so he wasn't guaranteed. There was some concerns. You draft him. You have 1 year where it's Dirk last year, his rookie year. It's like such a storybook, like our franchise guy, he's done, but here we got a new guy, also European guy, plays incredible, has been all NBA first team every single year, outside of his rookie year and this year because he'll be injured. Every single year he has been a top 5 player voted by the media. At least 3 of those years, I'm pretty sure he's been top 3 in MVP. Like, he will win multiple MVPs in his career. There is no doubt in my mind. He will win multiple championships in his career. There is no doubt in my mind. And again, you get to draft that guy, and you've been through a lot with him. You've been through a lot of different rosters, different combinations, Brunson, Porzingis. Now you got this last roster who played great defense after All-Star break, go to the finals, and, you know, like you said, these guys are given second chances. Jordan, you know, lost in second round against Pistons and whatnot. He came back and won. LeBron lost in, he had the Celtics as his demons, whatever. He lost against the Spurs in the finals. He came back. He had to leave. He won. Then he came back and he won again. You give these guys second chances. Dirk lost against the We Believe Warriors, a 1-8, series. He lost as a 1 seed. I think that was the first time ever, or maybe the second time ever, something like that.
Yeah.
He was MVP that year too, and how embarrassing that was. I've heard stories about, like, Dirk went off on, like, he went on to, like, Australia or whatever to, like, just wander around or something, like, to clear his mind after that season. Because I can't imagine winning MVP, but you lose in the first round as the first seed. You stick by him. You build around these guys because you believe in them, because they've shown you they have the talent. And they went to the conference finals. They finally made it to the finals, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, okay, we lost. The Celtics, they're a juggernaut. We know it. They hit threes. They're a great team, very well coached. But I mean, this is our first year with this roster. Kyrie healthy. We got Lively. We got
That got
PJ
better.
and
That
Gafford.
got better.
And we got better after All-Star break when we traded for the guys. We got better.
Yes.
This year, it's a struggle. We got injured. It is what it is. But, like you said, Luka will come back. Anything can happen if he comes back. And again, also like you said, he has been the best player in every single playoff series. That's a title that LeBron gets. That's a title that Giannis gets in the East. That's a title that Jordan would get. All these top great guys who whatever else, game plan, this and that, we want to get rid of what these guys are doing. We want to emphasize us. We want to do this defense, this offense. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because we have our guy. Whatever you do, we have this guy, and you don't you don't. We have
As,
him.
as a fan, you have these solution providers that are like top echelon solution providers when it comes to the playoffs. The playoffs are one of the most emotionally stressful times for basketball fans. It's just a very stressful time for them. But at the end of the day, I could go to sleep every series, even when we lost, and I would be like, Luka, you did what you're meant to do. This wasn't because it was you, and stuff like that, right? Almost every single series, I was like, I have Luka, and you guys don't have. And Zach Lowe said it so many times on his podcast. He said the amount of times people used to tell him within the NBA of how game planning for this guy was one of the hardest thing ever because he solved every single thing you did. You blitz him, you play the drop against him, you switch against him, you whatever you want to do. Last season he got blitzed more times in the regular season. Whatever number it was to the second guy was like quadrupled. And he still averaged 32, 8, and 8. And stuff like that. This is the kind of talent you have. And you you decided to trade him.
No, you're absolutely right. It wasn't like it didn't fall into your lap. Obviously, you still have to pick him. The Suns or the Kings could have had him, but you went out and traded with the Hawks because you wanted this guy, and you hit like the Powerball. You hit the best lotto ticket ever, and you got a guy like we've been talking about that is the best, one of the best, top 2, top 3 in the league. Homegrown talent. He didn't request a trade. He never expressed like any negative things with the fans or the front office or anything. Like you said, he's been through a lot of different teams, a lot of different teammates, a lot of different guys. And now this team, I mean, you go to the finals, you expect, maybe we'll make it back to the finals this year or in any other year. But again, we have Luka, and unless I'm facing Jokic or unless I'm not even going to put SGA with him. I think Luka is better than SGA unless you're against like Jokic. But even then, your roster is better than the Nuggets.
Facts.
Celtics, it's a different thing, but they just have so much talent. But you have to get hit to come back stronger. And even if it wasn't this season, if it's next season, they would have come back stronger. And there's no doubt in my mind that they would have won with him.
The one of the things there are two things I want to talk about. So one of the things we need to also make clear is Nick Harrison talks about the fact that they want to, this is a win now move, right? I'm like, so Luka is not a win now. Like, I'm like, you're treating him like he's Stephen Castle, some second-year rookie or some shit that you cannot wait for, right? Like, this is a win now player. This is a player that in every single series, even when we've lost in the first round, it looked like he was going to freaking win those series against all odds. Last season was the first time the Mavs were favored in a series in his whole tenure. Do you understand what I'm trying to explain here? In his whole tenure, last season was the first time they were ever favored in a series in the playoffs. Ever. So there's that. So when you say you want to win now, my question for you is a guy has taken you to the conference finals twice, taking you to the finals once in 2 years, in 3 years, right? Now you get 32-year-old AD. I love AD. I can talk a lot about AD. This is not this is there are levels to this. There are levels to this, right? The point I'm trying to make is you just narrowed your window. You could have had a window that was multiple years of championship contention where everyone would have had to answer to that guy. The same way they had to answer to LeBron. The same way they had to answer to Kawhi when Kawhi was healthy. The same way you have to answer to Jokic. Those players, Steph Curry, KD, those players are specific. There's no 20 of them in the league. Giannis, the same way you have to answer to those guys. You had that guy in your books. So there's not just 1 year of contention, because realistically, how many years of contention do you really think that you're favorites in with Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, who just had a bulging disc and stuff? And we may be able to get into the intricacies of that, but maybe we'll do that another time. But I'm just like, this doesn't make sense. Now the second thing, let's make a delineation. This is not the same ownership group that got Luka Doncic, right? They've made a change. What's the name of the family? I can't remember her name. The woman. Freaking. Where is it? I can't remember her name, but pretty much rich ass woman. Inherited a lot of wealth from her late husband. Casino family. They're Jews. Blah blah blah. All those kind of things, right? And all, and the new ownership and all. Nico Harrison 4 years ago got in the air. Mark Cuban sold most of his shares, 27% now, right? Immediately, if you notice, after 2 years, the NBA mentioned something about, oh, Mark Cuban can't sit with the bench anymore, something like that, right? They started kind of finding a way to phase him out and stuff like that, which I really believe is from the ownership. And this is one of the biggest things I have. North American owners, every single time they get their hands on a new toy, they feel they have to, they can't wait. Like it's some kind of egotistical control where I'm like, you have the thing, like this is yours, you own it. There's no reason. We see the case with Matt Ishbia, right? And all. But they want to make all these changes. And like going to Nico Harrison, I just feel this is a case of, when you made good moves, like people think like this is a really smart guy. Like you start to like, and that's why when Rob Pelinka was asking him, are you joking? It's like you start to overestimate your knowledge and your idea, and you start to overcomplicate things. And there's a lot of things structurally that I wonder. The spacing is bad now on the Mavs. The spacing is not as good as it was before, because you are going to have AD and a center in the paint, or is Anthony Davis not going to play the four anymore? Okay, or how does it feel when the spacing is bad and they start playing him at five? That's a question for another day, right? Kyrie is going to be your primary shot creator. One of the things that made the Mavs dangerous was the fact that you have to freaking choose. Are you going to double Luka, or are you going to double Kyrie? And when Luka swings that ball, Kyrie is attacking closeouts and all those type of things. Now, that is creating shots for PJ Washington, Klay Thompson, and everything. You're going into a playoff series, you're going into multiple playoff series where teams know we don't have to game plan for Luka Doncic. And do you understand how easy life becomes for these coaching staffs now and stuff like that? So there's so many angles, there's so many things we could talk about, but I'm just devastated, bro. I'm just devastated.
No, I completely agree, and I can't even imagine being a fan. And yeah, like you said, like this is not a win now move at all. That makes zero sense to me. This actually this is detrimental to your future in terms of like your ceiling before was how long is Luka gonna play, and hopefully there's no like career altering, like any crazy injuries. Your ceiling is as high as he'll go, and he's shown you he can be a guy that takes you to the finals. He hasn't won, but he is a guy that, in no doubt, will win, like we saw with Giannis, with Jokic, uh, like just these recent guys who have fallen in the playoffs. But we know how good they are. They win MVPs for a reason. They will come back. Without a doubt in my mind, Luka was right there with them in terms of a guy who will come right back and win a final series, no doubt in my mind. And you just trade this guy, and now your ceiling is 32, 34 Kyrie, or I don't know, older Kyrie, 32-year-old Anthony Davis, 35-ish Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, what, Gafford, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing. Your window is actually much shorter. It's like this year, next year, we're out of here. It could even be this year because Kyrie has a player option, and I mean, I don't know
Listen,
why
man,
he would want to return to the Mavs at this point.
this is career suicide, in my opinion, for Nico Harrison. Because if you don't win, if you don't get to at least the final in the next 2 years
And win. Like
and
you
win,
have to win to make
you
this
you have
feel
to
good.
win, and still then the Mavs fans are still going to feel a certain way for it. But this is
Yeah.
just career suicide. If he doesn't win in the next 2 years and this team doesn't win, or you go to at least the final, you are going to get fucking. He's not going to be able to be in any sort of basketball job in his career again. Like, he's going to get fired.
Yeah. Once he gets fired, he's not getting a job
He's
again.
not getting a
Because
job again.
if he goes into an interview, they're gonna be like, "What were you thinking about trading Luka Doncic?" And he can give out any answer in the world. He can give off a basketball reason. He could say he was fat. He could say he doesn't play defense. This and that and that. Oh, I thought this would be best for the team, the future, whatever. There is no justifiable reason that he could provide or anyone could provide to make this make sense. And
The
like
business, let's even say if it's business, who puts sits? You have a worldwide fan base with Luka Doncic. He puts people in your seats. When we went to Houston, I went to watch the Houston play against Dallas. Luka was not playing. I remember my girlfriend was like, "Hey man, so many Luka jerseys, so many everybody Luka jerseys." Today in the American Airlines Center, look how many Luka's jerseys are there. He's about to go to LA and he's going to become probably, maybe outside LeBron, because LeBron still had, and Steph Curry, he's probably going to be the third highest jersey seller.
I mean, no, he'll definitely. I think he could definitely be like first.
So on the business
Very
side,
easily.
on the human side, on the basketball side, I just don't see any of these tenets that make sense.
No, none of them.
This
none of them make
doesn't
sense.
help your relationship with the fan base. It doesn't help the fact that you came into the presser and talked about, oh, long term for me is 3 to 4 years. In 10 years, I may be fired or they may bury us. I'm like, look, the Mavs fans are expecting the Luka Doncic to retire in the Dallas Mavericks, and there's a 5 to 7 year window of you competing for championships. With this dude, it doesn't mean you're going to win everything. But with him, he's one of those guys that you know that we are championship contenders every single season, and you just traded him. Emotionally, how does this help his teammates? Emotionally, how does this help fans? How do they gravitate to this new team, knowing that you've ripped their hearts out, taking away someone that brings them joy? There's something about sports, and this is the part that pisses me off, is I cannot explain a Messi to anyone. I can't explain a Luka to anyone. There's certain players I can't explain to anyone because it's away from the stats. It's away from it's the way they make you feel, when they play the sports. And with Luka, there's a joy that I only got ever with Messi, where I'm just like, where every experience is this like existential experience of you like, this is a marvel. This is incredible. How is he doing this? Bro, remember in the Western Conference Finals Game 5, where everyone was like, oh man, if the Timberwolves take this to Game 6, And these dudes come in immediately and drops 20 straight points on their head in the first quarter. How do I explain that to anyone? How do I explain that feeling to anyone? This is the player you just ripped out of the hat. On a basketball level, you had the ultimate cheat code. You had the ultimate cheat code. This was a guy that actuated all your players around you. And now you remove that. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do, man. Like this is devastating, man. This is just devastating.
No, definitely. Like in sports, I think obviously the way you winning a championship is the best type of winning. The second best type of winning is when you have a franchise player like this who you know every year he gives you a chance to win the championship. He's been compared to LeBron for a good reason. Like you said, he scores and can score in any way, any shape, way, form, whatever on the court, and he helps his teammates. One of the best passers and playmakers in the league, LeBron-esque.
Bro, he's gotten minimum guy. Like, do you understand? Like, do you understand? We've gone to war with minimum guys, and this dude is making them better.
Yeah. Again, and playoff killer. Like, he has never had a bad playoff entire series. Literally, like you said, his first series against the Clippers, that was one where people were like, oh man, they got Kawhi, they got PG, some of the best wing defenders in the league. It did not matter one little bit.
21 years old.
And again, every single time, like the trump card is that you have Luka and that he is just above everyone else, and you give him up because you say defense wins a championship. You did not win your championship with Dirk because he played defense. You won because he scored the ball and was a great player.
I have a question. What were we calling the Minnesota Timberwolves defense last year? People were saying it was one of the best since Chicago Bulls and everything. Who was the player on the other team that freaking took them out in 5 games?
Yeah.
So the whole defense wins championship. When you have players like this, does Luka have things to work on? Yes, completely agree. I felt this season, away from the Utah Jazz game, when he completely slept up and he got absolutely destroyed in the media, which was totally fair. I felt this season he was locking in defensively. Like he actually was putting effort. And with him, we know you carry so much load. It's a matter of putting a lot of effort in and stuff like that, right? It's not even, and this season I saw him do that a lot much better and stuff like that. So obviously the bar is in hell with him, but again, at least he was better and stuff like that. So when you say defense wins championship, and the way you speak about it, Nico Harrison, and when he says, oh, we want to improve on the culture, and one of the reporters asked him, are you saying Luka wasn't a good part of this culture? Like, the way he spoke in that presser was so devastating to Mavs fans. Like,
yeah.
No. Bro, man, like, I'm genuinely stunned. It's genuinely one of the gut-wrenching, like, really, like, someone died kind of news that it's the kind of people. I was listening to a podcast today, and some people said, oh, they hate the fact that sometimes they wake up and they see too much text because the fear is someone passed, right? But when you wake up and you see so many text like that, the fear that you have is like, oh, what happened to someone and stuff like that. That was more realistic than Luka getting traded. Do you understand how crazy that is?
No.
That was more realistic that someone just passed, or there was another plane crash, or there was something. Than Luka get traded. Yeah. And this is literally it. And this is the part, like, I'm just hurt. I'm hurt as just, like, I love this dude. And a lot of Mavs fans love him. It's not just about, like, there's a love for him. And he's not even, like, he's probably out off the court. Off the court, he's really doesn't make noise out there. Believes he's calm and collected life and everything. Plays Overwatch,
Marvel Rivals, whatever.
But we knew, like, this idea, and people were putting news like, oh, the Mavs knew that, oh, they couldn't go to war with Luka. I'm like, This is one of the most competitive dudes out there. Like, you can't teach this competitive spirit. You can't teach the spirit of, I am going to an away arena and I'm going to tell all of them to STFU and make sure that I silence a whole arena and make you guys put we are sorry messages at the end of your season, at the end of your season to end your season. The battles with people forget he was injured all playoffs long. But the one thing he still had was, I am Luka Doncic, and you still have to answer for me and still treat me like I am not hobbled on my knee. And it's just crazy. I was going to ask you, what do you think about the Lakers part of it? Because now this is the new reality where Luka Doncic is a Lakers player.
Man, bro, okay. Like, it's so funny because we've been recording for 45 minutes and it's basically just been like Luka glazing, but it's not even glazing. Like, this is reality. And I was with some people who aren't like as or into basketball at all, and I was trying to explain to them how this is literally the biggest trade in NBA history, one of the biggest trades in sports history. Like it's, if you're not in it, if you don't know who he is, it's hard to explain. I've tried my best to some people to explain, like, he's this good, he's always like this, blah 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 blah. But if you're not in it, you don't understand how insane.
You don't understand it.
You have to watch him play. You got to go watch his career highlights. Go watch a game. See how he moves. See how he scores. See how his insane passes, the killer moments, the playoff game-winning moments, like you said, the competitiveness. Like, this guy, like, people are like mama mentality, whatever, Jordan killer. Like, he is up there. He wants to win.
And there's a colorism part of this where people don't speak about, where because it's basketball and obviously it's been dominated by a lot of black players and stuff, so they don't associate him with this like killer and everything. But this is a straight up cold, like, he has. It's one thing for me to know that I'm going to a playoff series and I have this vengeful player within that is on my team and will freaking put it on the line and isn't scared. The lights are too bright for a lot of these players. He is not scared when it comes to the moments for him to carry his team, and in tough moments and everything. He embraces it. He wants it. And bro, in this game 7 against the Phoenix Suns, we were down 3-2, about to go to Dallas. And what did they say? Everybody acts tough when they are up. This is my player. They just traded. You understand? That was, bro, do you understand the confidence hearing your best player say that? He said, everyone acts, we were down. We won game 6 by a blowout. We came to game 7, and by the end of halftime, Luka had more points than the freaking Phoenix Suns. You don't teach this. Like, you can't trade this. Like, you can't do any trade machine for this. You can't swap this out. You can like calculate this. Like, this is something you have to watch and understand the gravity of what you're watching in a player, and understand that this is a generational talent. This is one of the greatest passers ever. This dude was a Hall of Famer as at age 22 or age 23 already. His ceiling is not just one of the greatest. His ceiling is potentially a top 10 player ever that would destroy every statistical category that has probably lived. In the playoffs last year, he led in points, rebounds, assists, steals. This was the first time in NBA history that anyone has ever done that. That guy was injured still. Like, man.
Yeah. It's funny because we're talking about him like he died. We're talking about his accolades, his moments, this and that. He was one of the best in the world. We're talking about him like he's no longer with it. He's just on a different team. He's just on the Lakers now, of all teams.
Bro,
And
do you know, like, do you understand the superstar? Like, and Luka doesn't even want that, like, line, like, he doesn't want the outside this thing. But do you understand? The Lakers have probably gotten that Kobe, like, those guys that absolutely answer the call and answer the bell and want to take responsibility. This is him. This is him.
Yeah.
And I'm happy. You know what? I'm also glad. There's certain things Luka has to correct. His eating, his dieting, conditioning, and stuff. That's fact. This is things that has been ill. This has been the negatives on his part and everything, right? But I'm just like, what perfect time is it to be with LeBron? What perfect time is to learn from your childhood hero and your childhood, the player that you wanted to become and you player you watched, the player that said his favorite player in the league is Luka. If there's any time to learn anything about treating your body right and everything now, this is the time. And brother, listen, I'm telling you, he's about to rain hell. He's about to rain hell on every. I'm being very serious. This Luka is not just this, like, he's a calm, mild person and stuff. And following the Mavs, you gain a sense of their personality. He has ill will against people. He does have ill will. I don't know if you ever saw the video when we were playing the Kings, Vlade Divac, right? He kept pointing at him as he kept scoring on the Kings, and I was like, he passed on me. He passed on me. He's probably one of the few guys that we consider like European and everything that he almost gets the lingo, he gets the trash talk, he gets like, you know what I'm saying? Even when he's cussing out, he sounds like some black dude. Right? And it's just like, it's incredible. The Lakers did it again, and they got someone again. And bro, the superstars that are going to be out. Let me give you this scenario. Think about the season, whenever the season is, and LeBron is like, "Oh, this is my last year." I have a question for you. What do you think is going to be the minimum sit price for the Lakers game that season, where Luka and LeBron are playing on the same team together?
I don't even know. I did this reaction when you mentioned like LeBron and Luka playing together, because that part hasn't hit me at all yet. I'm still on like, the Mavericks did this. The fact that we're gonna see LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the same damn team playing together for the rest of the season, next year at least, maybe 2 years. That is unfathomable. That part I do not believe until I see it, and I can't wait. Whatever game that is, I am completely locked onto the TV when that game happens, when Luka finally plays with LeBron, because that'll be insane. But I mean, the ticket prices for the last season of LeBron with Luka too, like, oh my god. That I don't even want to think about that. I was thinking like, I wonder, like, whenever LeBron, if it's next year or is there any possible way, like, I've never been to a game, is there any way I could go to see LeBron one time in my life? Bro, unless I win the lottery, that will not happen at all.
Bro,
There's
listen,
no
man.
shot, bro.
It's I want to, the Mavs part of this, it just, like Nico, as I said, Nico Harrison, like, this might be career suicide. Like, he bets work. He bets work. Like, you bet,
And it's not gonna work.
and I don't think it's gonna work. And this is the thing. And when it works, I, as a Mavs fan, and a lot of Mavs fans will still say, you could have still done this with Luka.
Yep.
So the Lakers part of it, they need to make trades right now. They need to make trades.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you that part of it, where do we think Austin Reeves gets traded? Or does he just become a sixth man?
I don't know. I think you can definitely put him out there. I think for this season for the Lakers, like, they're not trying to actually win this season. Like, there's it's too late. Luka's injured. The rest of the roster just sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Going into this offseason, I mean, outside of Luka and LeBron, Rui, everybody else, I don't even remember everybody right now. Like you said, Reeves, these guys, we are thinking about LeBron and Luka together. Who can help us maximize the most? A guy like Dorian Finney-Smith was a great addition, and I think he'll stay. I think Austin Reeves, um, the
Dorian
starting
Finney-Smith,
lineup.
Dorian Finney-Smith isn't going anywhere. That is Luka's best friend in the NBA.
Yeah,
That is Luka's best friend in the NBA. He's the he's the happiest person right now. Even when
yeah,
Dallas fans are, he's the happiest person now. But they have to get a center. I know they want to get a center because you already know the formula with Luka. If you're going to do the Luka trade, literally he's the priority right now. It's not LeBron anymore. You need to plan for the future. And one thing we know, Luka Doncic and a rim running center, cash money. Right?
yeah.
The question is, who is the? I would have loved Robert Williams, but Robert Williams is just me and I have better availability than Robert Williams and stuff.
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm
literally.
hearing Nick Claxton and stuff, so which may be the better choice. But they need to get a rim running center because I don't think getting Vucevic, all those kind of players, those kind of centers doesn't work. Like if they're like, there's no point putting an immobile center with Luka Doncic and stuff. So there's just a lot of questions for the Lakers to answer. But as I said, I think there's going to be like that concerted effort where Lakers fans are going to understand if they don't win anything. Okay, like it's not like okay, like we are set. Like that's
They're
what.
set.
Bro,
They
that's what
are
I'm saying.
set, bro.
They didn't even have to wait. So a lot of people
They didn't have to do anything. Nico Harrison came to them. Do you want Luka? Look into my eyes. Do you want Luka?
so this
Yes.
is two things, and this is my conspiracy theory. So let me give you my 3 conspiracy theories and tell me which one is more plausible. First off, Nico was Kobe's Nike agent, I believe, was the one who brought Kobe to Nike or something like that. I don't really know the full details, but something like that. Rob Pelinka is Kobe's agent. They've been friends for over a decade, over 2 decades now and stuff. They've known each other for over 2 decades now, right? Nico was the one who brought AD to Nike. He signed AD to Nike. It's either Rob Pelinka has some of the craziest dirt on this guy. And he's like, bro, I could just say, and I could just put this in this world, and he agreed to this deal. That's one, right? Or they have sexual relationships with each other. That's just so that's the Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison side. The second one is the NBA colluding with these guys, because a lot of talk about ratings and everything and stuff like that. And what is much more pertinent to bring back? We talked about this last podcast. No rivalries, right? You bring the white dude into LA, into La La Land. You have the Celtics on the top of the throne right now. You push back the Lakers versus Celtics this thing, and you collude with these two teams because, again, everyone is asking the question, if Luka Doncic is available on the market, why didn't you tell every single person to put a freaking bid on this thing? But why does he go to the Lakers? The Lakers that doesn't have they made the trade, but they don't have the assets to get Luka Doncic. Let's just be. But AD at 25 might still have been a bad trade. Would still be a bad trade. Do you get me? AD at 25 would still be a bad trade for Luka Doncic. Or the third thing, the owners of the new Dallas Mavericks franchise have ties with like Las Vegas casinos, blah, 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 blah. But let me see if I can read that tweets for you. So, wait, sorry. I'll be here. 1 second. Where is it? Where is it?
I love this because when the
other,
unexplainable happens, we try to explain it,
the
and at the end of
Adelson,
the day, yeah,
the Adelson family, right? If the think about it, if the NBA wants an expansion team in Las Vegas, right? And this family also has ties to casinos in Las Vegas, right? Billionaires. What's more pertinent than to destroy your franchise and destroyed the relationship we have with the fans by trading Luka Doncic. So you go through 2-3 years where it's untenable with the fans, where people are not showing up on the States and everything, and like, let's pack up to Vegas. This is three. Because that's, as I said, the basketball, the emotional, the business side of this trade does not make sense to me. So someone is not telling us something. And even if they may never tell us what it is, but brother, something has gone on in the background. And I don't buy his fat, it's the condition. I don't buy that BS. That is just crap.
No, definitely. That is like that's not a real like there's not a real reason. There is zero real reasons unless Luca asked out personally, and
Which he
even
didn't.
then I'd be like, here's $300 million to stay here. Here's the super
Lu-
duper duper max. Please stay here.
Luka
I
acts
s-
out. Luka acts out like, bro, you're one, you're on contract, and two,
yeah.
I'm pleading. And every franchise finds a way to know that okay, we're going to put trust in ourselves to make sure that he feels like this is home and stuff. You ain't trading him for what you traded him for. And if that even happens, you put him on the books, and everybody bring your war chest and come get Luka Doncic.
Yeah. No, that like there's so many angles about this,
So many angles, bro.
but the one you just brought up is the fact that it was just between the Mavericks and the Lakers. It was just Nico Harrison that asked Rob Pelinka, and I saw the quote or whatever that he was saying it like jokingly, and then it kind of built up from there. But like I don't know how you view AD. And again, he's going to be his legacy has a great legacy, but he will be forever the guy that got traded for Luca and what
And this is not fair to me. This is not fair to AD because I feel he's
no,
going to be
definitely.
awesome in Dallas, and I feel he's actually flattered with this deal. Like I got traded for Luka Doncic. So you get what I'm saying? He's flattered by this deal, but I feel bad for AD because I'm sorry, this fan base is just not going to embrace you, and anytime they even want to embrace you, they are going to feel guilty because they took their pride and joy away from the team. And I'm just wondering with Kyrie, like Kyrie calls him Hermano, Kyrie calls him his brother. And I don't know if you saw the press conference when we won the Western Conference Finals, and they talked about how much they love and care about each other, and their families are close and their families are tight. And you have people in the locker room that also love this guy. This is not a case of Luka's relationship was bad with play. No, this is not a case of that. They rooted for this guy. They want him back. They've been talking about wanting him back for weeks now. We can't wait till he's back. We can't wait till he's back and stuff. Because they knew this dude with this dude, we know where we're going.
Yeah.
And
No.
the emotional element of this is very crucial. And people are like, oh, it's a business. Like that emotional part. This fan, bro, it's going. When Luka comes and people are like, oh, Luka is going to destroy the Mavs. I actually don't know. I actually don't know because I feel, bro, that day he comes back will be like a mourning. It will be like a funeral. And I don't know how he does. He's a pretty emotional person. He wears his heart on his sleeves. He's a pretty emotional kid and stuff like that. And he's going to come back. And I swear, someone said he might pass Wolf's record. But I feel there's an emotional part of this where he may not be able to concentrate and play well with that game and stuff like that. And the fan base are going to be like the fan base are going to feel guilty and they're going to feel hurt. But you imagine once they play the video on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
Just imagine. It's going to be sad. It's going to be extremely sad. And these fans are just not going to move on from this. And I don't know how, as a management, you make this decision. This is not some, oh man, this is not some, like, oh, he's not playing well kind of thing. Like, no, this is not that. You decided as a GM that Luka Doncic was no longer good enough for you to win a championship with. I rest my case.
No, I I totally agree. Just and like it really doesn't make sense because like how do you really hold AD to that high of a standard? Like he's a great player, but just him and one first round pick, if we got like a report, if he just asked like, "Hey guys, like just text all the general managers in a group chat, whatever," like he just makes a group chat with all the general managers in the league. "Hey guys, Luka's up for sale. Who wants him?" Every single team would text him back. "What do you want? What if we give you this? All these picks, all these players. You talk to OKC. Do you want 10 first round picks? They will give you 10 first round picks.
Jalen Williams,
And
yo,
and
gone.
Jalen Williams. And Jalen Williams. Bye-bye. You want to talk to the Spurs? The Spurs will give you all their picks. Castle, Vassell, uh every player, everybody except Wemby, Sohan, they will give you everybody to pair up Luka and Wembanyama. You talk to the Rockets. Hello, we want Amen Thompson. We want Jalen Green. We want Jabari Smith Jr. We want Tari Eason. And let's get Fred as well. Okay, and I'll give you 2 more picks. Okay, sure. Give me Luka. There is not a team that would like cuz like you said, um he's not just a player in terms of basketball, but like the money and the seats and the ticket sales and the jersey sales and just the TV, like all of that is a huge boost when you get a superstar like Luka. Every single team would want a guy like that, and every single team would put up an offer for him. I saw a
Basketball,
report. I
yeah.
saw a report that like I don't know if this is like how true this is, but apparently they reached out to trade for Giannis, Luca for Giannis. I don't know, and apparently they declined. I don't know how true that is.
Nico Harrison said he only spoke to the Lakers, so I don't buy that.
Yeah, but like that's again that's ridiculous because if you really think Luca is not gonna help you win, okay, what is gonna help us win? Well, if we get rid of him, we need a player who can, we need a great guard. We apparently need some defense because we want that. And, we might as well set ourselves up with some picks. We saw Mikal Bridges get traded for 5 picks. We saw Rudy Gobert. The Timberwolves put all their future, the next 7 years of their future, onto Rudy Gobert because of just his defense. Not even his offense, because we know offensively he's not doing anything. Just for his defense, they gave him all the picks. And they're like, okay, no, we just want AD. He's like, really? Okay, we'll take 1 pick. Yeah, we'll take 1 pick. And he's like, okay, done deal. Like,
They are
every
forever, they are
single team would
forever,
have given them
they are
multiple picks
forever
with him.
going to be tied to the, like, whatever happens from now on. They like, you better win. Like, you understand? You can, you know what? I agree with you. You can't even get to the finals. Luka got to the finals. So what? So like, okay, you can't even. You better win, and you guys are forever going to be tied to defense wins championships, especially if you don't win, right? And and that is what I'm just surprised about. Like I don't understand if they understood what they have when you go to playoff series. Like you don't do you understand what you have in your arsenal when you're going to playoff series? And I'm telling you, all the coaching staffs are like, oh, thank God. Like, now we just have to plan for Kyrie as your only shot creator. Okay. Spencer Dinwiddie, you want to shoot? It doesn't
Let him
work.
shoot.
It doesn't work without this guy. It doesn't work for the aspirations you have. It was championship or bust. Now it's championship or dirt because they're going to. He is not safe in the city of Dallas, Nico Harrison. And especially with the fact that he's not. There's a way you need to meet the fans, especially with this time. There's a way you need. And the way he spoke in that presser was so terrible. It was a bad job. He came in, he made a joke. The first thing he did was to make it. I'm like, bro, this is not a laughing time. So maybe we should move. The Lakers. This kind of thing is the stuff that we're going to talk about forever. Like I feel
Yeah,
there might be no episode throughout this whole season that we don't talk about this forever. So
literally.
this has literally, I think, as I said, our life is altered as NBA fans. Like this has changed my whole.
Yeah.
This has changed everything from. Bro, I was thinking of buying a Luka jersey soon, 77 Mavs jersey, and stuff. And look at the LA shit. You see, I love LA because obviously when LeBron went to LA, I was rooting for the Lakers. I'm a LeBron guy, so I love LeBron. This is not even this thing, right? But LeBron was more like reverence, right? There's like an emotional tie to a Luka, a Messi, a Kaká, like some players, Hazard in Chelsea. When I was, there's an emotional tie. There's an emotional tie to these players and stuff like that, right? And the LA they already have a tag, 23 plus 77. They already have a tag. They
Yeah.
already have a tag. Nah.
No,
Yeah.
the fact that he went to the Lakers makes this like so much more crazier. Like obviously, Luka getting traded, period, would have been crazy. He gets traded to the damn Hornets. He gets traded to the Wizards. He gets traded to the Kings or whatever, to the Suns. All of these teams would be crazy, and it would be a WTF moment. But the fact that he got traded to the damn Lakers, bro, they got their guy. It doesn't matter. Like Rob Pelinka, his job security, he the only time he's gonna lose his job is if he dies. Like there's no, he just extended his career
He extended
for life.
he extended
He
his
can do
career
no
for
wrong.
life. He can do no wrong. Like
There is nothing you could say to Rob Pelinka right now. I'm just the guy that traded for Luka Doncic in the middle of his prime. I only gave up one pick. Like, are you kidding me? And yeah, so the fact that Lakers they always win, it seems, unfortunately. And
I have a question for
man,
you.
like,
Do you
yeah,
see from a scale of 0 to 10? Let's say this season doesn't go right. We don't know what not right means. Let's say this season doesn't go right for the Mavs. Do you think Kyrie will opt out in the
I
offseason?
think I think easily. Like, what is he to stay for? Like, why not go to LA? There was already those rumors before about like
When
Kyrie,
he
like,
was in Dallas,
LeBron come here.
come
Yeah,
here.
LeBron come here. And then LeBron's like, no, you come here.
You
And I
come here.
mean, now it's his best friend LeBron and his other best friend Luka, and he has a player option, and he just saw what the GM the GM just told everybody and the players what he thinks about them, what he thinks about Luka. Basically
And
spit in the
clearly,
face.
if he can do that to Luka, he would do that to fucking me too.
He'll do it to anybody. Why would I want to be on that team? I mean, sure, we'll play the rest of the season, but if it doesn't go well, if we lose in the first round, if we don't even make the playoffs somehow or something like that, I mean, I'm Kyrie. I'm not trying to save the Dallas Mavericks. I just got here. Like, it hasn't even been like basically 2 full years almost. Like, I believe at the end of the season it would be 2.5 years, right?
Of what?
Of Kyrie on the Mavericks.
At the end of this year, to be 2.5 years.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it's like, I mean, I didn't spend my whole career here. I jumped. I mean, Kyrie. Do you think Kyrie's the guy to commit to a team? I
And
mean, he
but
told the Celtics,
that's
"I'm
the
gonna
thing.
re-sign." He's gone.
He's been such a good soldier and he's loved his time on the Mavs and everything. But my question is, like, I want to see his first interview from this.
I can't wait to hear LeBron, AD, Luka. I want to hear everybody like when they get interviewed for this, bro. But no, definitely Kyrie. Because I mean, if you talk about a guy who has promised teams that he's gonna stay, I'm gonna re-sign with you guys at the end of the season. this and that. I mean,
Anyway,
I love Kyrie,
Kobe,
but
Kobe,
he's
Kobe won't believe this either.
no, literally. That's and it's so crazy. Like Luka's Twitter header or whatever is him with Kobe.
And
Now he's
Gigi.
gonna be now he's gonna be a Laker too. Like man, it like no. But to answer your question, like Kyrie, I can 100% see leaving. There's like I mean. I wouldn't want to be on a team
The
that like just
Sacramento Kings, the
traded.
Sacramento Kings just got 3 first-round picks for De'Aaron Fox, and the Dallas Mavericks got one.
I got one. It feels like they didn't even try to get more than one. Like that's really so crazy. Like Nico Harrison, it feels like he was drunk the whole time he was doing this. He was joking with Rob Pelinka. What if you traded us AD and we gave you Luka? What if, right? We only need one pick. What's a pick to me anyway? I think of the future as 3 to 4 years. 10 years, I'm not even gonna be here. Haha. This is a guy who. This is something you say when you're not right in your head. Like there is something wrong with you about how you perceive a reality, about how you perceive life, about your job. Like this is a guy who like his screws are loose in one way or another. There's no way he is sane. Just the fact that everyone reacted with like this is not real, this can't be happening. This is a guy that just decided I'm gonna trade Luka because I don't think we can win with him,
But
and
but
I
but
think
right now,
defense wins championships.
defense wins championships. We are built to win in the short term, and stuff like that.
Like, did the
Oh
Celtics win
man.
because of their defense? Their defense was great, but they won because of the damn 3-point shooting and because of how much offensive talent they have. Tatum, Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Porzingis, Al Horford. That is a heavy offensive like top 7 or whatever.
Hmm.
Sure, they play great defense. They play amazing defense last year. They have great guard, perimeter defenders, KP, and then Tatum and Brown. Of course, it's a great defensive team, but they won because they killed everybody on the threes last year, and they were unstoppable because of it. And now you're saying defense wins championships? I'm sorry. The last time we can say a defense won championships was the damn Pistons in 2004. You
Facts.
can't point to any other team that won and said it was just because of their defense or like their defense was better than their offense. I mean, it's close, but the Pistons were the only team where you can say the defense won. Offense is key, and I well, we should move on to the Lakers part of this because, like you said, we will probably mention this. I mean, once they play their first games, we'll react to that. We'll probably react to any other comments or anything else that happens throughout the rest of the season. We're gonna keep talking about this because this is the biggest, craziest trade NBA thing ever. But to move on to the Lakers' point, just like a complete and utter like just fleecing. Like they just got, and it really. I saw somebody point out like the Lakers basically traded Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart for a championship and Luka because that's what AD
That's
was.
what
AD
literally
was
was.
a championship, and he
Hmm.
got him Luka.
And he got
Like
them Luka.
AD is a top 2 Laker of all time because he won and he got them the next
Yet,
guy who's
yet,
gonna be
yet,
even better than him.
no one can ever say anything to AD ever, man. You got us Luka.
He got
You got
Luka,
us Luka.
and yeah, man, like I'm so pissed that the Lakers win again. They fall into success, Like they don't even have to struggle that much. Sure, after Kobe retired, those years before they got LeBron, okay, sure. When they had Kobe and a couple between championships, yeah, they struggled a little
Just so you
bit.
know, Zach Lowe just posted a video talking about this like 90 minutes ago. So you can imagine what I'm doing. You can imagine what I'm doing. My girlfriend just sent me who is Jimmy Butler.
But bro, I saw
What's
I
happening in
saw the
this
other
world,
day
man?
like the Heat could cut Jimmy Butler last night and nobody would have cared. Like they could have
Bro,
just like
someone,
released him from the
someone said,
roster.
someone
Who
said, someone
cares?
said Kanye was trying to get attention, and this trade happened, and no one gave a fuck about him.
That was so
Like,
funny. I saw that he was like tweeting and he was like,
yeah,
"Guys, who's in the NBA championship next week, haha. And then literally the next notification is Sham's tweet, and I'm like, what in the world, bro? This is no. But for the Lakers, yeah, they fallen into success. They got their guy. I mean, we've said enough about Luka. We know what he can do. Him and LeBron, I cannot wait to see.
Do you understand the basketball geniuses that you have on the court? Like,
That is
especially
that is
with JJ Redick.
yeah,
This is also JJ Redick guy. You know they have a friendship. The only
yeah,
podcast Luka has appeared on is JJ's
yeah.
podcast.
And hasn't he done it like twice? I think he
Is it
did.
once? I thought it was once.
I think he might have done it twice, but he definitely did it at least once. And yeah, they do have a good relationship, and that's so funny that they got those three guys. And you know, the rest of the year, it's whatever. This off season, Rob Pelinka, let's go to work. Let's get some defense. Let's get some defense, and we just roll the ball out there, and we don't even need a game plan. Just let Luka and LeBron bounce off of each other, and like, bro, this will be. I
I
like watching the Lakers. I like watching LeBron, bro. I'm gonna watch every
every
single
single I'm
game.
going to work every single minute. Bro, you know the superstars that are about to be like, do you understand the superstars that are about to be like, do you understand like the first game Luka plays will be like it's really maybe we don't grasp the superstar these duties, but again, just the LeBron effect, the how big this has been, like everything, and that game in April in Dallas Mavericks, I will be seated, like I will even need like VR shit where it almost feels like I'm sitting on the court too, to understand it, because brother, when they do that appreciation video, I might cry.
No,
I might cry.
I definitely agree
And some
because
Dallas
it's
Mavericks fans might cry.
no, definitely because it's not like you won a bunch and you know this was the writing was on the wall or something, or like you know there was some relationship issues with the front office brewing or anything like that. This was completely rug pull out of nowhere, out of the blue. I mean, I would cry too if I was a Mavs fan because you
Let
just
me
had
let me
this
let
guy
me
and now you
let me let
don't.
me let me read the tweets to you. This guy said, Jared Sandler, he covers the Rangers, which is a hockey team, I believe, in Dallas. He said, Luka was the face of the NBA and he was a Maverick. We took pride in that. It made you feel good. He was our guy. It wasn't just some assets. So you can debate the X and O's of the trade, but it's irrelevant. He meant more than any of that, and he was taken from the community. Like this is not you nah, this is not some assets. Like this is not some assets. Like this is a franchise you pulled. You pulled their hearts out from the fans. And we're going to remember this, and we're going to absolutely, and it's going to be hard as a fan because I love Kyrie, I love PJ Washington, I love Derek Lively, I love Gafford, and I want them to do so well, and I want them to succeed. Even when Luka was not, because I wanted them to succeed because these guys deserve it, and they're awesome players, and they're growing and they're developing. But they're just put in a very, very difficult position right now because the fans are just not going to grasp this. Someone said if Lakers and Mavs are playing against each other in the playoffs, in the Dallas Mavericks home, it's going to become Crypto Arena. And
Yeah.
that is not a place as a management you should ever put your team in, where you're making fans pick player or team. Man, yeah. Uh,
No, we've talked a lot about this Luka guy and I mean this trade as a whole. You know, the Jazz were involved. Maxi Kleber got moved. Max Christie. Like none of it matters.
none of
It
it matters.
really is just the Luka and AD trade and the Luka trade really.
Really.
And I mean,
I'm mind
man,
blown, bro. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel real.
no,
It
it doesn't
doesn't.
feel real. It's not gonna feel real. Even when they play, it's gonna be like so weird, and yeah, it's
Bro,
career
man,
suicide. Nico
just
Harrison,
the
what
joy.
like
You've lost the, like, man, like, even when I watch him on the Lakers, and if he does amazing things and everything, I'll still revere the guy and I'll still love him and everything. But it's just there's a different thing of him wearing that jersey, the Dallas Mavericks jersey. There's a different thing of just his story and his line and the fact that this guy is a genius wonder kid that has this competitive edge that is very, very rare and shows up and is so talented offensively. And outside of Jokic, is probably one of the greatest offensive dynamos we've ever seen. Like, this is genuinely one players, and there's few of them. And that love and that care and that like there's a particular care we had for this guy because he's our player, he's our guy, he's our fat player, but he's our like this is we embraced every single thing about him, even though we chastised him when we needed to chastise him, but we embraced every single thing that came with him. And it was, we're going to do it with you, and we accept the flaws you have, and we believe you're going to improve on the flaws you have. And there were certain things and there were certain times he did improve on those flaws and stuff, right? But man, like there's just a joy, there's just everything that is being lost. Like I enjoyed turning my Mavs, watching the Mavs and seeing him do crazy, incredible things that you never see. He makes as much as Jokic does it every time too, but he makes 2 to 3 passes where you're like, what did I just see? Like, did you guys just see that happen? And stuff like that. Like, this is a generational player that was taken away from the Dallas Mavericks franchise, and Nico Harrison has ripped their hats out, and it's irredeemable. In my opinion, it's going to be irredeemable. And you better win. You better win, or else this is career suicide. And it's over for you in any basketball franchise, because every single person, your name is going to be tied to this atrocity of a move that you've made. And I'm going to leave it at that.
No, I have nothing else to say. And I mean, now we might as well get on to the next trade. We'll definitely keep talking about this Luka guy and this whole trade situation and everything. But I completely agree about just like the emotional aspect of this, like the fact that it didn't seem like he cared, like in his post conference whatever, talking about the trade. Like Nico didn't really sound like it was that big of a deal, or that he just did this like, oh, we just made a trade. Like it doesn't feel like he took it as seriously or like with the heart or like anything like a fan would. Like it's like a double agent type of thing. Like this guy is not who we thought he was. Ripped the mask off. He's like Rob Pelinka traded Luka to his own team or whatever. Like this doesn't make any sense, bro. But yeah, right before we started filming, there was another breaking trade.
Yep.
The Sacramento Kings finalizing a trade to send De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs in a multi-team trade that also moves the Chicago Bulls' Zach LaVine to the Kings. And the full trade is that the Spurs get De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings get Zach LaVine, Sissoko, and 3 first-round picks. Chicago, or I think that's Charlotte, 25, Spurs 27, Minnesota 31, and then 3 second-round picks. Chicago 25, Denver 28, and 28 of the Kings. And then the Bulls get back Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and their own 2025 pick via the Spurs.
How does Stephen Castle not move in this deal? Because in my opinion, I don't see what the Spurs gave up. The Spurs didn't give up, in my opinion, the Spurs didn't give up anything. The Spurs didn't give up anything.
They gave up Zach Collins and Trey Jones.
Yeah, but it's nothing, in my opinion. If you get what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing that left them that you're like, oh, wow, they lost that player. You get what I mean? But, like,
they added him basically for free. Like, what, their own 2027 pick and a 2025 pick to the Bulls or something. Like, they didn't give up anything. Now that I'm really looking at it, they gave up absolutely nothing, and they just got De'Aaron Fox. They have Castle, they have Zell, They have
Keldon Johnson
Keldon
is still
Johnson.
there.
Like these guys, like they still have Chris Paul. Just like
They
they
didn't give
gave
up
up,
anything.
they gave up nothing.
They can still grab another package and make another deal with the amount of players they still have on their
No,
team.
absolutely. Like they
I don't
literally,
know what these GMs are doing, man. God have mercy.
and now they got All-Star De'Aaron Fox. I think it's a great fit. Obviously, like
Mm-hmm.
he's a great player, and like if we look throughout the league, like teams that needed point guards, there's not that many teams. Like a lot of teams are set on point guards, or they have young guys or whatever. I mean, the Spurs, like I've thought about it a bunch. Like who are the Spurs gonna trade? When are they gonna do it? It's obvious that at some point they have to make a splash to match somebody up with
With Wemby.
Wembanyama, and it seems like they just did it for free, and
Bro,
now they have all their ammo. Pretty much, they have all their ammo to get another guy
I
and
know
at
the
any
guy.
time they want.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's my thing.
Like
I'm like, I'm
that
sorry.
is crazy.
If you're going to take De'Aaron Fox for me, I want Stephen Castle.
Yeah, like, and I mean, I guess they get Zach LaVine instead, but that's what the Bulls were giving up. The
Mm-hmm.
Bulls are really like the biggest losers, and I know like
What are the wait, I have a question. What are the Bulls doing? A 2025 pick from San Antonio does nothing for you. San Antonio are going to be very, very good. I don't see what that pick does for you. The Bulls are just useless. Completely useless. Completely useless.
yeah, no, the Bulls are such a weird and poorly ran franchise, and the rumors were there with Zach LaVine, but it felt like it would be to get a to get something promising. Like if anything, the Bulls should have got Stephon Castle out of
Mhm.
this. Like the Spurs get De'Aaron Fox, the Kings get Zach LaVine, sure, and they get a bunch of picks for De'Aaron. De'Aaron's a better player slightly, but Zach is not a slouch. And then the Bulls, okay, they get the young guy from the Spurs. They get a pick from the Kings or something, and oh, okay, then we're fine. But the Bulls got like Jack. They got absolutely nothing
Nothing,
for
bro.
Zach LaVine, and I mean, why? I mean, the Lakers could have done this before
Even
they
the
got
Kings,
Luka.
even the Kings got a lot of first round picks and second round picks. The Bulls, like, what?
Yeah, honestly, like the Kings, like obviously the Spurs got Fox for basically nothing, but the Kings got like Zach LaVine, which is a good player, and then they got like a bunch of picks. Like that's a pretty decent package for a guy, De'Aaron Fox, who basically said he wants to leave and that he only really wants to go to the Spurs. And then the Bulls just got nothing. Like this is just ridiculous. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know what in the world is wrong with the Bulls. They're just like stupid. Yeah, that's now that we're really looking at it, that's a bad trade.
It's a
That's a
bad trade,
bad
bro.
trade for the Bulls.
That's a bad trade. Like, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous, bro.
That doesn't make any sense. We still got, man, I thought this trade deadline, like, it would just be like a Jimmy trade, and then we got the Fox news, and then obviously we had last night. Like, it's already been a crazy trade deadline, and we still got until Thursday. So I'm not even sure who else is going to be next. Probably Jimmy, but like, I don't know, man. This is a crazy league. The NBA is a crazy league, and yeah, Fox and Wembanyama is going to be great. I mean, De'Aaron is still relatively young. Obviously, he's not the greatest 3-point shooter, a bit streaky, but like, he's a clutch player. Gets to the rim,
Mm-hmm.
finishes,
It makes
super
sense. It makes
fast.
sense. Like, 27-year-old Darren Fox, obviously in his prime of his career, and instead of saying, "Oh, we're going to wait for Wemby," and like, no, let's go now. Like, because Wemby clearly is someone that deserves that kind of like, let's go now and stuff like that. And we will see what we're lacking at the end of the season. Okay, what's like, we may not get to the top of the mountain, but let's go compete. Let's go put ourselves in tough playoff. Let's get that experience of understanding what we need as a franchise and stuff like that. And Go to those tough playoff games. You have to go through it to understand what it means and what you need and stuff like that. So yeah, I completely agree with the move. The move makes sense and all. But I always wanted it to be Trae Young.
Yeah,
I felt that would have.
that would
I
have
felt that.
definitely been
I
so much
felt that would
fun.
have been like. I felt that's like that is like for me that is like insane. Like I think that's
No,
like
definitely.
crazy. Like yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like a pick and roll between De'Aaron Fox and damn Victor Wembanyama is insane. Like, De'Aaron can just like beat you off the screen, or he
Hmm.
can easily pass back to Wembanyama, and then Wemby can hit a three, or he can attack from there. And like, I don't even know what to say, bro. Like, this is just the easiest trade ever for the Spurs, and it's just like I think he has like one more or two more years or something like that on his contract. So like, I don't know. This is just like a home run for the Spurs,
Hmm.
and I guess everyone's gone mad now because we can just do whatever we want in the world. It doesn't matter.
Hey man, like it clearly doesn't matter, man. Like if you can trade Luka Doncic, like
No one's
honestly,
untouchable.
honestly,
Untouchable is not a word anymore.
honestly, the Bulls didn't do as bad as that. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, yeah. Even though the Bulls got a paperclip and like a penny for the Zach Levine, at least
Hmm.
they didn't trade Luka Doncic. That's really what you can say
Let's put it
at
that
the end
way.
of the day.
Oh
And
man, see man, like bro, I'm being serious. This has been. I didn't sleep. I've not slept more than 3 hours since last night. I'm being absolutely serious. Like I've not slept more than 3 hours.
man, I would be so devastated. I don't even know.
Like no, 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 no. I don't get it. But yeah, anything on? Oh, did you see? Jimmy. Jimmy, my phone just died. Jimmy said he doesn't want to resign. He's not willing to resign with the Warriors. So the trade talks with Jimmy. I didn't know there were trade talks with Jimmy and the Warriors, but apparently those are dead now. I don't know what he
Interesting.
wants. This is what we talked about two episodes ago. Like, brother, you have no sort of leverage. You don't have like some sort of like you're not 25-year-old Jimmy Butler. You're not 28-year-old Jimmy Butler. Like, I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah. No, I don't know what he wants. I guess he wants to go to the Suns, I guess. But man, I don't know. Your bet is as good as mine in terms of what he wants. I just want him to get traded already, and hopefully by the next episode we'll get a Jimmy trade, and that'll be nice because like I'm done with hearing about he got suspended for this and that between him and the ownership and between Pat Riley and whatnot. Like
Mm-hmm.
after this Luka trade, bro, just get it over
Let's
with.
get it over, man.
Let's just move on. Let's watch.
This
I just
Luka,
want to watch
you
the
know, this
Lakers.
Luka trade is going to be talked about the whole season.
Yeah,
And in a way, depending on how bad this goes, this may be like our whole lifetime of like, hey, you remember when the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic?
yeah.
Or
It's
maybe,
literally like a
or,
where were you moment when
or
this
wait, or
happened.
maybe we're just so dumb. Maybe we don't know what Nico knows. The only thing is, is it possible the Dallas Mavericks knows some health condition that Luka will never ever recover from?
Yeah. Like I saw a tweet like this only makes sense if like Luca has AIDS or like just something ridiculous. Like
Mm-hmm.
unless they know that he has zero cartilage in his knees left. He got Kawhi knees at age 25, 26. He's going to be cooked. We don't want to pay him the supermax. Let's trade him. Let's get AD, focus on our defense and move on because we know what everybody else doesn't know. If it's that, if that ever comes to light, if that's even true or anything like that, sure. But the fact that everyone involved was surprised, all the players, nobody else knew about it, like Luca didn't know about it or was even like I guess talked to about it,
Mm-hmm.
like it just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, unless it is like they really know something that we don't know. I saw like they heard Luca say the N word or something, and that's why they're trading him. Like, there has to be something like ridiculous, outstanding, off the court thing for it to make sense. But there, as far as we know, there isn't any, and it doesn't make sense. So it is what it is.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, seems like after the whole Luka talk, that King's trade is not as big, but
Bro, man, everything's just, okay, okay.
yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Well, this has been one of the best episodes so far, as we
I
hope
do
to say
agree.
every week.
As we say every week, it's actually true.
And it's actually true. But this one might be the best one for a while. I don't
For a
know.
while.
There's gonna have to be something crazy else that happens
Mm-hmm.
for this one to get
We are
topped.
doing our
But yeah,
draft next week.
yeah,
That
that'll
should be
be very
very much
fun.
fun. I will actually. So tomorrow, we're bringing on a guest for that. His name is Naz. Played pro ball in Malta for a while. He's my classmate in my master's course. He's an Orlando Magic fan. We'll ask him some questions about the Orlando Magic and why, for some reason, they're playing really badly with their guys back. With Paulo back, most especially. And yeah, I'm going to pretty much actually draft exactly what's write it out, exactly what we're doing. So when I send it to him and stuff, and to be a whole week of us just mental exercise, trying to figure out our draft, which should be really fun. It's going to be the first time me and you have done something like that, so it's going to be fun, and it's something we're going to do throughout this whole process and everything. And maybe one day in 5 years, we're going to be like, hey man, let's draft the worst trades in NBA history and stuff like that. So
First overall pick, Luka. There's
exactly.
no competition.
So yeah, man, this was fun.
It
Yeah,
was a
man,
good
I'm
therapy
starting.
session, good
Wait,
breathing
I
session.
had to. There are a lot of things I have to get out
Let
and
your
everything.
demons out. Let
To get out.
everything out.
So we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens. It's gonna be an interesting couple of weeks here. I'm watching almost every press conference. I'm literally like how they say answer that question, how they answer the question. Stuff. I'm watching every single thing. I'm devastated. I'm on really I understand Mavs fans being hurt. Like there was a lady that literally said you took a light away from Dallas. This is not just any other trade. This means something to people. Someone said I'm going to have to wake up my 11-year-old tomorrow and tell him this.
I
This
can't. Yeah.
think
I can't
about it.
imagine these kids who became basketball fans because of Luka. They
Mm-hmm.
live in Dallas. They didn't care about basketball. They hear about Luka. They see he's on his team, and they're like, "Wow, this guy's incredible. He gets to be on my team. I'm a 12-year-old kid just getting to the sport. He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. I couldn't even imagine being like a kid and there's no reason to us. We can talk about every single angle. We can talk about this and that. We can make conspiracy theories all day long about why this happened,
Yep.
and there's still no reason. So I can't even imagine trying to explain to a kid or try to rationalize to a child whose favorite player, favorite team decide to trade one of the best players in the league, Luka, for seemingly no good real reason. I mean that sucks. That just absolutely sucks. And yeah,
Yeah, man. It was a great episode. Hey, man. I'm sure I'm gonna text you throughout the whole week, and things are going to bubble up and all. But yeah, man. You have a good night. Please love, like, subscribe, share. We are the Pushing the Pace podcast, and yeah, we bring amazing basketball content, and we're going to keep on pushing our content out there. So please love, like, if you listen to our podcast, we appreciate it. We appreciate the love, support, and everything. And yeah, we're gonna keep on doing better and trying to make sure we have the best basketball podcast on earth if we can. But yeah, I'm going to go listen to Zach Lowe. So
oh,
that's the pretty fun. Elias, have a good night, bro. I appreciate it.
good night. Good
Peace,
night.
peace, everyone.
Peace.